Tonight was the go-home show before Saturday's Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. So WWE was trying its best to hype the show and continue all of the big storylines. For non-wrestling segments, Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar met to sign a contract for their bout, and Seth Rollins appeared on Miz TV. As far as matches go, WWE booked Mustafa Ali versus Bronson Reed, The Miz versus Rick Boogs, and a 6-woman tag match with the 6 competitors who will appear inside the Elimination Chamber to fight for a shot at the Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania 39. Let's take a look at what went down during tonight's go-home edition of Raw. For this is Ridiculously Raw. Welcome, everybody, to Ridiculously Raw, the most must-see show on YouTube and streaming.com today. I am your host, Anthony Florio. I am joined right now by the Phenom, Michael Bullock, fresh off another one of our legendary Raw chats, as always. Not often I say this, but we are awaiting the presence, perhaps, of good old MF Michael Fletcher. If MF comes in, we'll catch him up on what he missed. If not, then we will hope to have him back with us Wednesday night for Wednesday Night Madness over on his channel, Braves Fan 95. So with all that, let's dive right on in. Monday Night Raw, this go-home show, Brooklyn, New York, on the USA Network, and we started it off with an in-ring segment. It was the man Becky Lynch cutting a promo, and of course Adam Pearce was in there as well, but Becky would get interrupted not once but twice. She would get interrupted first by Bayley and then by the Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair. And Bianca, you know what, if you both want a shot at the chamber so bad, how about both of y'all go through me? And Adam Pearce is like, I love that idea. We're going to have ourselves a triple threat match here tonight. Bianca Belair versus Bayley versus Becky Lynch. If Becky Lynch or Bayley wins this triple threat, then Becky or Bianca gets added to that Elimination Chamber match at Elimination Chamber. From there, if Bianca wins, then neither Becky nor Bayley will not be inside the Elimination Chamber matchup. So a high stakes main, and the show. I'll say it like that. I mean, the segment was fine for what it was, and typical cookie cutter opening segment. So we're not really going to dive too far into that. But we will talk about that main event, though. That definitely will be addressed. First fight of the night, we had the Street Profits, Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins, squaring off against the Judge. Finn Balor, Damian Priest win the match 7 minutes and 35 seconds. And then a whole lot of chicanery went down after the match. Judgment Day attacked the Street Profits, but enter the Grit couple, Hall of Famers Edge and Beth Phoenix. Edge cleared out Judgment Day. Dominic by Beth Phoenix, and it looked like he was going to get another glam slam, but no, mommy was home. Rhea Ripley took down the Glamazon and gave her a riptide. So, all right. Let's see. All right. Decent match, but it wasn't as good as we know it could have been. These teams are both great, but it felt like a bit of a filler, to be honest with you. And the crowd audibly booed when, that was a different note. I apologize. Dominic Mysterio calling Rhea Ripley mommy is always going to be weird and slightly creepy for some reason. It might even be what he is going for. Crowd chanting for mommy was funny, though. Damian Priest was so close to not breaking up a pin that saved Balor. He made it at the last possible moment. And the combination Blockbuster and Doomsday Device should be the Profits finisher. Solid match here. It was I can only give it about 2.5, maybe 2 3/4 of a star for the effort. So there isn't really much more for me to add on it. So Michael Bullock, come on in. 2.5, 2 3/4 for the match. As Judgment Day defeats the Street Profits 7 minutes and 35 seconds. But then Edge and Beth came out. All hell breaks loose. But a big win for Judgment Day to give them the momentum going into that big mixed tag. Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley against Edge and Beth Phoenix on Saturday night.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, this was I'll give this about 2.5 stars as well. I thought it definitely could have been better, but yeah, I mean, like you said, after that you had the Grit couple come out and look like Beth Phoenix was gonna give Dom another glam slam, but no. Rhea Ripley showed up after Dominic right before said that Mommy was still on tour promoting WrestleMania. Well, let's just say Dominic and Rhea swerved all of us.
Swerve, bro.
Yeah, exactly, swerve, bro. And it definitely gives the momentum going for Judgment Day. Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley going into that mixed tag. So, and I don't know about you, Florio, but after what I saw tonight, especially Rhea coming back and getting the best of them, if that's what we saw here, I got a feeling that booking 101 could come into play here. So part of me thinks Edge and Beth Phoenix are going to come out on this one, but we'll wait and see. So 2.5 stars. It is yours.
Ready to talk about the contract signing?
And it does it. And contract signings don't end well.
And this one did not. Brock Lesnar, Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley had his own little setup. He had the Gestapo security guards come out, and then they set up a table and a chair on the stage, and he baited Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar took the bait, and Lashley was able to lay out Brock Lesnar, and then Bobby Lashley eventually went. So, all right, Bullock. Maybe it wasn't as chaotic as we thought it was going to be, but it was still a fun segment as we saw it.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't quite like as chaotic as we thought it was going to be, but yeah, I mean, yeah, Lesnar thought that Bobby Lashley was going to come into the ring, but no, he, like you said, Lashley had the security guards and then of course his own table, so it's kind of like he was trying to set the bait, the trap up, and got Brock Lesnar to come out. And first he beat up the Gestapo security, but then Bobby Lashley got the best of Lesnar with a spear, signs the contract, and now the match is official. So yeah, so we'll wait and see what happens with this. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say. It is yours, Florio.
Yeah. We always knew this would end in a fight, but the way WWE did this at least made it interesting. Contract signings are tricky because there are only so many ways to book two people signing a piece of paper. It was a good way to make a predictable formula more fun. As soon as all of the security guards lined the aisle, you knew they would get wiped out. Lesnar's accent is entirely dependent on which hat he decides to wear that day, and the bump Lesnar took in the aisle looked kind of painful. You notice he was a little bit smiley. He was like laughing after Lashley laid him out. So, and I think another booking 101 scenario here, seeing that Bobby Lashley got the better of Brock Lesnar tonight. Don't be surprised if Brock Lesnar wins that match on Saturday night. So, so not much more to say on that. Quite a bit of some cutouts here. First up, we had Piper Niven squaring off against Meat. The match, 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Yeah, this was not good. This is about a 1.5 star effort. not, but it quickly cooled down when they slowed the pace. Niven ended up scoring a quick win with a black hole slam. This match had a couple of good moves, but as a whole, it was uneventful and forgettable. Both given more time, but it is what it is. WWE cannot give every match 15 to 20 minutes unless it wants to limit how many it features on the show. So that was about a 1, maybe 1.5 at best. So one of the worst fights of the night. It's not the worst, but there were quite a few not so good. But this we're definitely going to get into here. This was actually started via a backstage interview. Kathy Kelly was interviewing Baron Corbin, and all of a sudden, Kathy got a buzz in her ear, saying that something's going on in the ring, and yeah, something was going on in the ring. All right, Sami Zayn showed up. Sami Zayn, and he actually called out Cody Rhodes, and that brings out Cody Rhodes. And these two had a back and forth, and all I can say is segment of the night. This was very, oh my goodness. The crowd ate this segment up and chanted several different times. Everything about this was done perfectly and helped follow up on what happened last week with Cody Rhodes and Paul Heyman. And Cody encouraging Sami Zayn going into the biggest match of Sami's career this Saturday night in his hometown of Montreal when he challenges Roman Reigns for the undisputed Universal Championship. I mean, what a fantastic segment this was. And it was an excellent segment. I mean, you would have thought maybe the creative forces would have kept Cody and Sami apart from one another after Cody won the Royal Rumble. But this was so much better, and it's working out great in terms of the fans largely accepting both men rather than feeling the need to choose between the two. And then they kept up, they kept the action, and then they went back to the backstage moment with Kathy Kelly and Baron Corbin. Corbin went off on Kathy Kelly and talked about Cody Rhodes, saying that Cody was a joke, his brother Dustin was a joke, and his father, the late great American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, was a joke. And that pissed off Cody so much that Cody took umbrage to it. He attacked him while still wearing his street clothes, if you will, not his traditional wrestling gear. And it led into an impromptu match, Cody Rhodes against Baron Corbin. Cody Rhodes won the match 2 minutes and 5 seconds. So we're not even going to talk about the match. But Michael Bullock, no need to talk about the match because it was a delicious squash of Baron Corbin. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy, by the way. And on top of that, Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn. What a great segment. I mean, this is the best story going on. Not just the bloodline, but Cody Rhodes as well and Sami Zayn. You had the two hottest baby faces in WWE right now sharing the ring together. And after what we saw with that segment tonight, they damn sure did not disappoint. What a great segment of the night.
Oh, they did not disappoint. I mean, this was the segment of the night. I mean, what could you say? I mean, this was just, I mean, it was just awesome to watch. I mean, the back and forth with them. I mean, these are the two best going on right now, especially as we head into WrestleMania season. And yeah, I mean, obviously, I mean, Sami Zayn said that he was going to walk out the undisputed Universal title, and that Rhodes was going to be facing him. And the thing is, even after all this, Cody Rhodes, I mean, he encouraged Sami Zayn to beat Roman. So yeah, so that was a little interesting. So we'll wait and see what happens, but it definitely makes it more intriguing going into Elimination Chamber this Saturday night. So yeah, there's really nothing more for me to say. Segment of the night, it's yours, Florio.
All right, Bullock, we move on. Well, we already bypassed the match. Cody Rhodes defeating Baron Corbin, 2 minutes, 5 seconds. We're not going to address that. It was a delicious squash. Not much to say. Another one of the big advertised matches of the night, the 6-woman tag team match with the 6 women inside the Elimination Chamber, Raw versus SmackDown. Asuka, Nikki Cross, and Carmella from Raw versus SmackDown's Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, and Natalya. Team Raw wins the match. They win the match 7 minutes and 25 seconds. Asuka was the difference maker, and Bullock 7 minutes and 25 seconds for this match. We already said, going into this, we already had Asuka as our odds-on favorite to win that chamber match, and tonight she further cemented that status. Oh my goodness, what dominance by the new look Asuka.
Yeah, 2.5 stars for me. Asuka solidified herself why she is the favorite coming into this, and why all of us we think she's gonna walk out and win this Elimination Chamber and challenge Bianca Belair at WrestleMania. This new look Asuka is, I'll tell you what, it's really, it's really, really good right now. I think she could be the one to dethrone Bianca Belair at WrestleMania, and yeah, and I'm really digging this new look Asuka, especially from what she was in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and yeah, this is the best we've seen from Asuka since she returned. So yeah, 2.5 is my rating on it, but Florio, we've said it so many times, especially since this new look Asuka, she is a major threat, and this is the best I've seen for her since she has that new look now, and is obviously to me a real threat, not only to win this chamber, but to dethrone Bianca Belair.
Oh, absolutely. It's fun seeing Asuka post makeover. Her act was beyond stale, and she now feels like a fresh and unpredictable character. And wow. Corbin match real quick. Was that it wasn't long enough to be much of anything, but it was entertaining, and that's what matters. But as far as this 6-woman tag goes, 2.5, 2 3/4. Usual 6-woman tag bout as far as the setup goes. Everyone got some time in the ring, and both teams had a few close calls before one finally got the win. After a little while, Asuka just started taking out everybody, including her own teammates. Armbar, but Cross and Mello were too hurt to have their hands raised by the ref, Danilo and Fabio at the end. Most of the match was paint by numbers, but the way it ended was great. Booking Asuka to be an unstoppable badass is the right way to go. Past Carmella to run to the ring was funnier than it should have been. Asuka attacking her own partners was awesome. And Carmella seems so much more comfortable as this version of her character, unlike her most beautiful woman shtick that she was doing. So, not much more to say here. Let's move on. Another cutout here. Squaring off against Mustafa Ali. Bronson Reed wins the match, 3 minutes and 15 seconds. One of those delicious squashes. It was short, but it didn't need to be longer than it was. It was designed to make Reed look like a beast before the pay-per-view, and it did just that. It wasn't a clinic or a classic, but it was effective. Another 1 to 1.5 on that one. And then you had the Miz TV. That's freaking Rollins. And of course the song, of course, and but they talked about Logan Paul, and of course the going around is that it's going to be Seth Rollins and Logan Paul at WrestleMania, which has the potential to be a very good match. Which I'll be honest with you, it will. And then Rollins attacks Miz, and then Austin Theory comes out, and Theory got laid out. The best thing about the build to Rollins versus Paul continues to be that all signs point to Logan Paul playing the heel role, because let's be realistic, nobody likes him. Bullock doesn't like him. I do respect his in-ring ability. I will give him that. And meanwhile, silliness like Miz pulling himself up the ropes. Yeah, nothing really much to get into on that. So, and then the Miz had his Rick Boogs beats him in a minute. So, yeah, this was the worst fight of the night. This was an absolute dud. Short and simple. In fact, it was probably it was the shortest fight of the night. It didn't need to happen, but if WWE's going to give Boogs a real chance to succeed, matches like this will probably be commonplace for a few months. So we're not even gonna, but Boogs is playing more into his giant physique and seems to have ditched the guitar for now, and that could probably benefit his character. So we're not gonna, go any further into that. Now let's get into the main event of the evening, which was the triple threat match. Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch versus Bayley. Becky or Bayley wins. That woman gets added into the Elimination Chamber matchup, making it a 7-woman field. If Bianca won, then no Becky, no Bayley, neither one of them would. The winner of the match in 18 minutes and 20 seconds, Bianca Belair. Bianca wins. Becky Lynch out. Bayley out. So neither one of them will be added into the Elimination Chamber match as the champion. Picked up the win here. Without a doubt, this was the fight of the night. 4.25, teetering on 4.5 stars. When you have 3 performers of this caliber in the ring together, it's almost impossible without intentionally booking it that way. This bout was paced well and allowed everyone to be in control at different points. Easily the fight of the night. Since there are no DQs in a triple threat, Dakota Kai and Io Sky interfering on Bayley's behalf was completely legal. In fact, it was shocking that they didn't just get in the ring and help their leader beat Lynch and Bayley up sooner. Several other women showed up at ringside, the women that are inside the chamber match. But Belair took all of them down by throwing Sky into them for the ring. And after Lynch hit Bayley with the manhandle slam, EST hit a KOD on Becky and dropped her on top of Bayley for the win. The crowd loves Bianca Belair. The camera had shots of tons of different people dancing during her entrance. Bayley was really selling her knee after Bayley had her in a figure 4. Lynch is an underrated striker. Her form and Belair's vertical suplex Smith is a thing of beauty. 4.25, teetering on 4.5 stars. Fight of the night. The Women's Elimination Chamber match will stick with 6 wrestlers rather than adding a 7th. And I like the way they got a main event out of this. Believable scenario that a chamber match would simply start as a triple threat. And Becky's a big enough star that it was also believable that she might be added at the last minute. And that was it. So, wow. Great matchup here. Far and away the fight of the night. 4.25, teetering on 4.5. So, not much more to say here. Michael Bullock, fight of the night here. No doubt about it. The EST wins. So, Becky Lynch and Bayley, neither one of them will be in that Women's Elimination Chamber match. It's going to stay as it is. No additions.
And it should stay that way because, I mean, it wouldn't be fair to the 6 who earned their opportunity to be in it. And yeah, so 4.25, teetering on 4.5. I mean, this was the fight of the night when you got 3 women's wrestlers, the caliber of those 3. You know you're in for something real good, and that's what we got here. And yeah, so there's really nothing more for me to say. I mean, 4.25, teetering on 4.5. And as far as my overall thoughts on this edition of Monday Night Raw, I'll give it 6.5. I mean, you had some good matches. That, of course, a segment of the night, and everything else was just okay to pretty much that. So 6.5. It's yours, Florio.
Yeah, 6. Um, I'll say it like this: it was a solid, not overly spectacular edition of the show. They did a really nice job of filling the 3 hours in a way where it never felt like we were seeing filler material. The hype for the Elimination Chamber event was strong, so it was a solid, not overly spectacular go home show for the brand. So, yeah, the women's main event was far and away the fight of the night. All the other matches were either okay and we had a lot. And this is the most cutouts I could remember seeing on a Raw in some time. We had like about 3 cutouts, maybe a little more than that. I don't know, but yeah, this was not good at all. So 6.5 for me. So with that, just bear with me for a moment as I. Okay. Okay. Let's now get in my Tony's take now. As you know how we always do it. Wrestling as always, and of course NXT Level Up. So just bear with me for a moment as I get it up here. We started it off with a number 1 contenders match, Brian Myers versus Dirty Dango. And Brian Myers in 6 minutes and 50 seconds. I like the more serious Dango. He's been shifting away from a lot of the comedy and wrestling, more traditional matches. And as it turns out, he can do those well enough to get by and even do well in some places. Myers is a bigger name and easier to take more seriously, so it makes sense for him to win. But Dango's been doing well lately. Then we had the Good Hands against Mickie James and Tommy Dreamer. Mickie James and Tommy Dreamer wins the match, 5 minutes and 22 seconds. The first match was about 2.5. Same thing for this one. Intergender wrestling can be tricky to pull off, but they made it work well here. Mickie James is one of the most successful women's wrestlers of all time, and it isn't too much to believe that she could beat one of Bully Ray's lackeys. Dreamer versus Bully is still a bit much to take as one of the bigger feuds in the company, but that's where everything seems to be heading. Then we had the debut of Steph DeLander, formerly Persia Parada from NXT. She went up against Jordynne Grace. Jordynne Grace won the match, 5 minutes and 2 seconds. Another 2.5 stars. I mean, it was just another okay match and a series of them on this show. DeLander got in a bunch, but wound up losing to the bigger star. Grace is going to be back in the title picture sooner than later. So giving her a win, even while breaking a sweat, is a good thing. That being said, DeLander was hardly a big star in NXT, and I'm not sure how much value she has coming in here. But maybe she could prove herself, and she did start well here. Killer Kelly and Taylor Wilde against the Death Dolls. And the Death Dolls in it and win it in 6 minutes and 3 seconds. Theme of the night, 2.5 stars. Knockouts division deserves a lot of credit as they have turned it into something rather entertaining most of the time. There is some depth here, and Kelly and Wilde are coming along quite well. Death Dolls need some challengers, though, and I'm not sure if there's a team around at the moment to fill that spot. But then Marty Bell and Allison Kay, formerly known as Sienna, attack the Death Dolls after the match at the behest of Father James Mitchell. So, oh boy, that could be something interesting. Then we had a no surrender number 1 contenders qualifying match. PCO went up against Shera. PCO wins the match, 3 minutes and 10 seconds. About 1.5 for this. Match was more or less a squash, and I can appreciate it going that way. There's only so much of a reason to believe that Shera was anything resembling a threat to PCO, so just let him run Shera over. PCO isn't likely to win at no surrender, but I could absolutely see him being a challenger of the month as a wild card. Then we had the Digital Media Championship matchup, Joe Hendry against Matt Cardona. And Matt Cardona Joe Hendry successfully defends the title. He wins the match, 13 minutes and 2 seconds. By default, this was the fight of the night. 3.25, teetering on 3.5 stars. It got rolling near the end as Henry can wrestle a good match when he's given the chance. They might have something with him as that charisma can't be ignored. At the same time, Cardona's transformation from total goof into solid heel, including the physical transformation, is incredibly impressive. He feels like a star, so Henry beating him was a good step forward. Moose came in for some post-match shenanigans, but nothing really much anyway. 7 out of 10. They got back on their good side last week with a solid enough show that actually made me more interested in the world title match at No Surrender. Other than that, the Cardona stuff was rather funny as he does a great job at getting humiliated. Fun show here, and as usual, they built towards the future, which is one of their strong suits these days. So a solid 7 out of 10. Thursday night on Impact Wrestling, this upcoming Thursday night, Rich Swann versus Kenny King, Chris Bay versus Kushida, Eddie Edwards under qualifying match, and Steve Macklin will take on Rhino in a No Surrender qualifier match. And that fatal 4-way match at No Surrender will determine the next number one challenger to the Impact World Heavyweight Championship, either the reigning champion Josh Alexander or possibly a new champion and a former champion in his own right, Rich Swann. So we'll have to wait and see. So that all goes down Thursday night, 8 p.m. Access TV. So not much more to say there. Let's quickly get into NXT Level Up, and then we'll call it a night here. Let's see. All right, there we go. Started it with Tank Ledger against Kale. Tank Ledger in 5 minutes and 9 seconds. Not much to this one. Didn't get to see much from Dixon. It was a wrestling match, 1 star. Danny Palmer against Lash Legend, and Lash Legend in 5 minutes and 20 seconds. I thought it was better than the opener. Thought it seemed longer than 5 minutes. Legend was due for a win, 1.5 stars. And then we had Scripps versus Axiom. Scripps wins the match, or actually Axiom wins the match, 6 minutes and 40 seconds. Axiom is sweet and Scripps is improving. Again, the chin lock wasn't needed, but everything else was what I wanted out of the bout. Crowd enjoyed it as well. Let's have more with Axiom. 2.5 stars, 6 out of 10. Solid show, thanks to the main event. The other 2 matches were what you would expect with that show. Easy watch with a crowd that's into watching these young talents develop. So 6 out of 10. And with that will put the bow on this edition of Ridiculously Raw. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. We'll be back with you Wednesday night. I'm guessing 10:30 or so over on MF's channel, Brace Fan 95, for another edition of Wednesday Night Madness. As we will be reviewing, as always, NXT and AEW Dynamite. Thursday, the season premiere of TXN Sports World, as we will have we will recap Super Bowl 57. We'll also recap NFL honors. Of course, other things to look forward to. We also have our preview of the NBA All-Star festivities. LeBron James becomes the all-time leading scorer in NBA history. We'll get into that as well. Among other things, NBA trades, a lot of big trades in the NBA. We'll address that. A big trade in the NHL. So we'll get into all that on Thursday night at 10:30 here on the Tone 25. And then Friday night, 11 p.m., MF's channel, Brace Fan 95, the Cerebral Smack Talk, as it will be Friday Night SmackDown's go-home show for the Elimination Chamber. Actually, it'll be AEW Rampage first, because AEW Rampage starts at 7 Friday night. So we'll be starting with AEW Rampage, then SmackDown, and then we will preview the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view from the Bell Center in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, on Saturday night. And no word yet on when the recap will be, but I'm sure we'll have an announcement on that soon enough. So that's it. So until Wednesday night for Wednesday Night Madness, hopefully on the MF channel, Brace Fan 95, Anthony Florio here for the Phenom Michael Bullock, and in spirit, good old MF Michael Fletcher, and of course, always and forever, the First Lady, the Twisted Angel, Dee Woodson. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up, Fortune Force style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed couple of days. And until Wednesday night for Wednesday Night Madness, you've been watching Ridiculously Raw right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and StreamYard.com. And remember, my friends, no matter what anyone tells you, beyond anything else, wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long, and bye, everybody, bye.